But even as we prepare ourselves for the completion and implementation of that major piece of work, we should not let pass an opportunity to move ahead with strategic investments in areas where considerable work is already underway, and we know results can be garnered in short order. In this vein, permit me to address initiatives in 3 of the following areas: motorsports, alternative energy, and the entertainment, recording, and performing arts industry in Barbados. Motorsports. Motorsports has become an extremely popular spectator sport in Barbados. Indeed, over the last 20 years or so, Barbados has distinguished itself as a hub for regional race meets and a potential destination for international racing events. With this clearly in view, the sport also provides very exciting prospects for the further development of sports tourism in Barbados, targeting not only the regional but international markets as well. Additionally, it is my belief that motorsport can also provide serious professional job opportunities for several young people in Barbados currently studying auto mechanics and electronics. Mindful of these opportunities, and as part of government's program to diversify its economic sectors to assist in further GDP development, we have decided to partner with the authorities in the motor racing sector to set out a program for further development in the sport in Barbados. To this end, government will shortly approve an agreement to lease the Bushy Park facility to the Barbados Rally Club to facilitate a full upgrade of the racetrack and adjoining facilities to international racing standards. Resources for this upgrade work, are expected to come in part from the International Racing Federation, FIA. It is my understanding that Barbados is already the first country to have taken advantage of the FIA Institute's grant for facility development funding to improve racetrack facilities. As such, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Finance will give favorable consideration to an appropriate package of tax and other concessions to facilitate the successful building of this facility. The completion of this facility will elevate Barbados by having the newest Category 3 racing and kart facility in the Western Hemisphere, truly putting us on the world stage on terms of motorsports. In addition, with effect from September the 1st, 2011, I also propose that all sporting vehicles, equipment, and gear temporarily imported for the sole purpose of competitive activities into the country will be exempted from the value-added tax. Alternative energy. The economy of Barbados continues to be severely impacted by high oil prices. The average price of crude oil on the international market for this year is $95 a barrel, and analysts project that that price will continue to remain at that level for the duration of the summer. Indeed, the harsh reality is that the days of low oil prices are practically over. What does this mean for us in Barbados? Let me remind, sir, of a few cold, hard facts. The domestic demand for oil is about 10,000 barrels per day. Since we produce less than 1,000 barrels a day, we must import more than 9,000 barrels of oil every day. The cost of oil imports at 2009 was US $233.51 million, representing 6% of GDP, a level comparable to government expenditure on education. Almost all electricity generated by the electric utility is fossil fuel based, predominantly with fuel oil and the remainder diesel fuel. Power generation represents the main use of the petroleum products in the country at 50%, followed by the transport sector of 33%. The importation of petroleum products, therefore, represents a significant expenditure drain on Barbados' foreign exchange reserves, with a significant impact on the direct production costs and therefore on the competitiveness of the local economy. In an effort to ease the burden on residential consumers, the last government subsidized the cost of electricity in the sum of US $18 million in 2008. This occurred due to government preventing the full impact of the increase of the fuel cost adjustment due to the increase in the price of fuel oil used by the generating of electricity. Similarly, the Barbados National Oil Company Limited accumulated losses of in excess of US $80 million due to the government not passing on the increase in the price of oil to consumers. Unfortunately, due to the prevailing economic climate and its impact on the Barbados economy, this government is simply not in a position to subsidize the cost of these products for any sustained period. The cost to government of nearly 200 million Barbados dollars in seeking to shield consumers from these price increases was significant. Indeed, the Barbados National Oil Company Limited almost became technically insolvent in the process and is still seeking to recover from these losses. It is on this basis that this government is seeking to implement a paradigm shift in the move to renewable energy and energy efficiency within the context of the establishment of a green economy. This initiative is imperative in view of the vulnerability of the economy to the volatility of high oil prices. In last year's statement, I alerted the country to the fact that the government had signed off on a US $45 million loan to facilitate the design and implementation of its new sustainable energy framework that would tackle the issue of alternative energy interventions across the economy. I am happy to report, Mr. Speaker, that work on this is now at an advanced stage, with both the demand-side conservation framework almost ready to be rolled out through the $10 million Smart Energy Fund, and on the supply side with the policy framework for sustainable energy investment program. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, we've made such considerable progress that we have already agreed with the Inter-American Development Bank for Barbados to negotiate a second energy policy-based loan of US $75 million to execute the preparation of a renewable energy and energy-efficient policies program through the necessary legislation. The government recognizes that in an effort to facilitate and promote renewable energy and energy efficiency, the necessary enabling environment must be put in place. In this regard, within the next few weeks, draft renewable energy and energy efficient policies will be submitted to the Cabinet, along with proposals for the amendment of the relevant legislation. It is the government's intention to have the draft legislation in respect of these renewable energy policy within the next few months to facilitate the generation of electricity by renewable energy sources and the sale of such back into the grid so that it can be passed on to consumers. This comprehensive program will create an institutional, policy, and operational framework that will set the appropriate incentives to generate substantial energy savings, reduce the cost of electricity to households and businesses, and contribute to the reduction of oil imports, and hence liberate funds for other purposes. It is projected that Barbados will be able to reduce oil imports' cumulative costs over the next 20 years from US $2.648 billion to US $1.978 billion. Indeed, sir, as a symbol to government's commitment to this process, some government agencies and ministries, including the Ministry of Transport and Works, have already gone ahead and retrofitted their buildings with solar energy generating mechanisms. This has cut their energy bills by as much as 40% in some cases. And today, I wish to announce, as a further demonstration of our seriousness in this regard, that the Ministry of Finance has agreed to work with the Clerk of Parliament to identify available resources to retrofit this Parliament with sufficient alternative solar energy generation capacity to cut its current $1 million a year electricity bill by at least 50% a year. I am advised by the Clerk of Parliament that preliminary estimates indicate that such an investment is not likely to exceed 200,000 Barbados dollars.
Whoa.